Imagine standing in a remote mountain valley, thousands of feet above sea level, miles away from any ocean. The wind howls across ancient stone formations, and beneath your feet lies something that shouldn't exist here. Something impossible. Massive stones weighing tons, carved with mysterious symbols and crosses, scattered across the landscape like breadcrumbs from another time. These aren't ordinary rocks. They're drogue stones, ancient ship stabilizers used to keep massive vessels. Steady in violent storms. But here's the question that changes everything. What kind of ship would need stabilizers this enormous? And why are they here, over 200 miles from the nearest sea, resting on mountains that touch the sky? What if I told you that these stones, along with dozens of other pieces of evidence, point to one of the most controversial and transformative events in human history? What if the story you've heard since childhood, the story many dismiss as myth, is actually true? What if Noah's Ark isn't just a story, but a reality that can be seen, touched, and proven today? The evidence is overwhelming. The location is real. And what has been discovered will challenge everything you thought you knew. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, your understanding of faith, history, and the power of God is about to be transformed forever. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I want to ask you something. If you're finding this information valuable, if your faith is being strengthened, or if you're simply fascinated by what we're uncovering together, would you take just a moment to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message? Your support helps us continue bringing these powerful truths to light. Now, let's continue with what might be the most important archaeological discovery of our time. The story begins in the mountains of Ararat, a region that has been shrouded in mystery and reverence for thousands of years. Genesis chapter 8 verse 4 tells us something specific. Then in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Notice carefully what the text says. It doesn't say the ark rested on the mountain of Ararat, singular. It says the mountains of Ararat, plural. This is crucial because Ararat was not just a single peak, but an entire region, a kingdom, that flourished between the Aras and Upper Tigris rivers from the 9th to the 7th century BC. The Bible itself confirms this in Jeremiah chapter 51, where God commands nations to prepare for war against the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. This was a region, a territory, a land where something monumental came to rest after the most catastrophic event in human history. For thousands of years, people have venerated a specific location within these mountains. They've carved symbols into stones. They've written inscriptions. They've built monuments. They've named entire villages after the events that transpired here. And then, in 1959, something remarkable happened. A Turkish army captain named İlhan Durupinar, while on a mapping mission for NATO, photographed something from the air that would change everything. It was a boat-shaped formation, perfectly symmetrical, resting in the mountains at an elevation of 5,300 feet above sea level. At first, archaeologists dismissed it. They dug, they dynamited, they found only soil and rocks, and they declared it a freak of nature. Case closed, or so they thought. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. This site wasn't discovered in 1959. It had been known, visited, and revered for millennia. Early Christians carved crosses on the stones surrounding it. Crusaders made pilgrimages here in the 1200s. Ancient writings, relics, and place names all pointed to this location as something sacred, something connected to the Great Flood and the man who survived it. The question isn't whether people knew about this place. The question is, why has it been venerated for so long? What did they know that we're only now beginning to rediscover? In 1977, a biblical researcher named Ron Wyatt reignited interest in the site. For over 2 decades, Wyatt dedicated his life to studying this formation. He brought ground-penetrating radar, frequency generators, and metal detectors. And what he found was staggering. Beneath the surface, regular patterns emerged. Internal structures, organized metal deposits forming the outline of a massive ship. In 1991, something extraordinary was unearthed. A rivet, a large metal rivet with a washer around it, believed to fasten massive timbers together. Laboratory analysis revealed it contained titanium, aluminum, and iron. Here's the shocking part. Aluminum never occurs naturally in metallic form in nature. It requires advanced metallurgy to produce. And yet, here it was, embedded in a formation thousands of years old. Just centimeters away from this rivet, the soil contained no trace of these metals. They existed only within the boat-shaped object. But the evidence doesn't stop there. Petrified wood was discovered, tested, and confirmed to be organic in nature. 4 layers of wood laminated together, like a deck. Timber with iron nails embedded inside. The Turkish government found additional petrified wood samples. Metal detector tests, conducted numerous times over decades, revealed distinct, organized patterns of metal beneath the surface, patterns consistent with the internal structure of a massive ship. In 2014, electrical resistivity tomography, the most advanced deep penetration imaging technology available, was used to scan the site. The results? 3-dimensional. Images showing parallel lines, angular structures, and what appear to be 3 distinct decks, only within the ship-shaped object and nowhere outside it. These parallel lines and right angles are not found in natural geological formations. They are hallmarks of human construction. Now let's talk about the measurements. The boat-shaped formation measures 515 feet long, exactly 300 royal cubits as described in Genesis. Its width today is 138 feet, larger than the biblical 50 cubits, but this is explained by the ark's walls collapsing outward as the structure decomposed over millennia. The height corresponds to 30 cubits. Every dimension aligns with the biblical account. And then there are the drogue stones, over 30 of them, scattered along a path from west to east, exactly as you would expect if a massive ship were releasing ballast as floodwaters receded and the stones began hitting rising. Landforms beneath the surface. These stones are the largest drogue stones ever discovered anywhere in the world. They have holes carved into them where ropes would have been attached to stabilize the ark against violent waves. Some stones have broken edges where ropes snapped. Many are carved with crosses, 8 crosses representing Noah and his family, the 8 souls saved from destruction. One stone has an ancient carving that appears to depict the Tower of Babel. Another has 3 layers carved into it, representing the 3 decks of the ark. These stones have no business being here, over 200 miles from the nearest ocean, unless a massive ship dropped them as it came to rest in these mountains. The names of the surrounding places tell a story that cannot be ignored. There's a village called the Village of the 8, named after Noah and his family. There's a place called Karga Konmaz, which means the crow won't land, referring to the birds Noah, released to find dry ground. There's Sarhat Daoi, meaning to make a voluntary pilgrimage, likely referring to Noah's journey above the ark after the flood. There's Uzungili, formerly called Nassar, meaning to be drawn out of water or Judgment Day, the same root as the name Moses. There's Nassar, meaning to make a sacrifice, referring to Noah's altar worship after being saved. Village after village, name after name, all connected to the flood narrative, all surrounding this one. Location: near the town of Ararat, believed to be where Noah settled after the flood, ruins of an ancient home have been discovered. A large rock, thought to be Noah's altar for sacrifices, sits nearby. A stream runs through the area, perfect for crops, vineyards, and animal husbandry. Ancient corrals where animals could have been kept are still visible. And most remarkably, a sarcophagus was found here, designed to hold the skeletal remains of a person 15 feet tall, believed by some to be Noah's wife. Before the flood, people lived longer and grew larger. The sarcophagus has been stolen and sold on the black market, but its depression in the ground remains. 2 tombstones were found at this location. One, discovered by Ron Wyatt, shows carvings of 8 people, a rainbow and a dove. The second largest figure is looking down with closed eyes, believed to represent Noah's wife. Historical accounts spanning millennia support this location. The Gilgamesh epic names Mount Nisir as the Ark's landing place, the same name as the town once called Nassar, above the boat-shaped formation. The ancient writer Berosus described the Ark's location near this region in the 3rd century BC. Flavius Josephus, the Jewish historian, wrote in the 1st century AD, "Its remains are shown there by the inhabitants to this day." Church fathers as late as the 7th century AD mentioned the Ark's remains in these mountains. Pilgrims would gather pieces of petrified wood as charms and recognized the drogue stones for what they were. Century after century, generation after generation, this site was known, visited, and revered. In 1987, after reviewing all the evidence, the Turkish government officially declared this site to be Noah's Ark. They established Noah's Ark National Park and built a visitor center. This isn't speculation. This is governmental recognition based on archaeological, geological, and historical evidence. So what does all of this mean for us today? It means that the Bible is not mythology. It's not ancient folklore passed down and distorted over time. It's truth, verifiable, tangible, undeniable truth. The flood happened. Noah's Ark is real. And the God who judged the world with water is the same God who offers us salvation today. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, "As the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be." God gave people time to repent before the flood. He's giving us time now. But just as in Noah's day, many are too busy living their lives, too distracted by the temporary, too focused on themselves to see what's coming. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 20 tells us that God's divine long-suffering waited in the days of Noah while the ark was being prepared. He's waiting now. He's patient. He's merciful. But his patience has a limit. 2 Peter chapter 2 reminds us that God did not spare the ancient world, but brought the flood on the world of the ungodly, saving only Noah and his family, 8 people, righteous people, people who believed and obeyed. So here's the question that matters most. Are you like those in Noah's day who ignored the warnings? Are you like the people Jesus described, so consumed with eating, drinking, and living for yourself that you have no time for God? Or are you like Noah, a person of faith, obedience, and reverence for your Creator? The evidence before us is overwhelming. The drogue stones, the petrified wood, the metal rivets, the ground-penetrating radar images, the measurements, the place names, the historical accounts, the governmental recognition, all of it points to one undeniable conclusion. Noah's Ark is real. The flood happened. God's judgment was real, and his salvation is real. This isn't just history. This is a warning and an invitation. God destroyed the world once with water. He's promised to judge it again, next time with fire. But he's also promised salvation to all who come to him through Jesus Christ. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. You can too. The ark saved 8 souls from destruction. Jesus saves all who believe in him from eternal destruction. Don't be like those who scoffed in Noah's day. Don't be like those who ignored the evidence until it was too late. The ark is real. The flood happened. God's word is true, and your eternity depends on how you respond to that truth today. May God richly bless you as you seek him with all your heart.